Hey there everybody, this is Lee with Creative Two-Time Mom. This video is going to be a part of the Homeschool ABC Collab series. This week's letter is the letter R. R for rod and staff reading. So this is the first year we have ever used rod and staff. Last year I was getting really frustrated with the language arts program that we had, and I wanted to just completely throw it out the window and try something new. And as I was doing some research, I had seen rod and staff come across just my mental radar, and I started to look into it, and I thought, okay, let's just give it a try. Let's give it a try for the next year and see what we think about it. So this year I had a second grader and a fourth grader, and I just wanted to focus on the rod and staff grammar and the reading. So for my fourth grader, this is his reading book. We get a reader, which is like a student textbook, and then we got 3 different student workbooks. So in the reader, it's going to have all your reading, and then the workbook has the questions. And I was really surprised how much this curriculum focused on vocabulary, which was great. There was a lot of words that came up that he probably wouldn't have ever really been exposed to. The language is really rich. So in that way, it was kind of a pro and a con for me at the 4th grade level, because some of these words are just completely out of our vocabulary and out of existence. So it made it quite a struggle. I was looking for something he could be a little bit more independent on, but because the vocabulary was so old, it required a lot more of my intervention on that part of the curriculum. However, on the pro side of things, that opens him up to a lot more books and a lot more reading that he can understand that he wouldn't have understood before. The first probably 2/3 of the year follows along with, let me flip to the table of contents. It follows along with the Gospel of John and the book of Acts. So that is your first 2 units of the year. And they were probably the most difficult as far as language. It also goes into the these and thous, which we don't really use a whole lot. I went back and forth on whether or not I liked that. The 3rd unit is Job, Psalms, and Proverbs, and like stories about like character. And so now that we've hit the end of the year and we're getting into those stories of character and what type of person you want to be, where they're more stories and not Bible, it's getting a lot easier, and I feel like he's relating to it a lot more. I would like to see the language updated in these readers. That was probably the biggest thing for me, is just the old language was really hard for both of us. Even there was words I had to look up in the dictionary to figure out. I could understand them, but I couldn't explain them necessarily. So that was a bit of a pro and a con for me at the 4th grade level. But it was really solid. Lots of good Bible reading. We would take 2 days to read each story. We'd read it every day and take 2 days on that lesson. So he really got a lot of good Bible exposure at this level. Same thing with grade 2. We actually have 3 student textbooks and 5 student workbooks, which is a lot to get through in a year. And at grade 2, the language is a lot more accessible. My daughter is just now getting to the end of 2nd grade, where there's a couple of words that she's thinking, okay, I'm not really sure what this means. But for the majority of the year, the language has been all really familiar. The readers have a lot of Bible in them, but they're written more like a Bible storybook, whereas the 4th grade is a lot more like original Bible text. So the 2nd grade was very accessible for my 2nd grader. And her lessons work a lot with, this is like the end of 2nd grade now. So it introduces the new vocab words, what part of speech it is, what the definition of that word is, how it's broken to syllables, how it's pronounced, figuring out like the part of speech that a word is within the context of the example that they give, connecting words with their meanings, writing your answers in sentence answer, which I really love that she's learning to write her answers in sentence answer. So overall, for 2nd grade, I love the 2nd grade. I'm so ready to move her on to 3rd grade. Now when she gets to 4th grade, I'm up in the air whether or not we will do this again. My hope is that by the time she gets here, she will be into the routine enough of rod and staff that this will be a lot easier for her. I think part of my son's struggle was this is the first year we've done it, and it was such a step up from what we've done before, so he really struggled to make that leap. Not that it was too hard, but there was a gap in there that we were trying to compensate for at the beginning of the year. So will we use this again? Absolutely. My 3rd grader next year, 3rd grade, I'm going to get the readers for her for next year. With my 4th grader moving into 5th grade, I would, but we are going to be moving him to core classes. So we will use the state standard material. As far as the grammar, love the grammar. Love the grammar. It goes through nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, all their rules, all their suffixes. My kids know way more grammar this year. They received so much more instruction in grammar this year than they probably have for the past 2 or 3 years. And it was quick, easy, independent lessons, and they grasped it. It was presented in such a way that it really stuck with them. So absolutely love the grammar. I'm back and forth on the reading. I'm going to go ahead and pursue it for next year, but I cannot recommend the grammar highly enough. It is fantastic, and it made my kids such better writers and readers this year. Their reading has just absolutely gone through the roof this year. So we love Rod and Staff. It was my first time using it this year. I'm so excited to continue with this curriculum. I can't recommend it highly enough. Hope that helps you out. And if you would, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you use for language arts, how you put together your language arts curriculum for your kids, because I love checking out what people use and how they make it all work. Talk to you later, mamas.